back to the planning board for step 2, and then go back to the planning board for step 3. That's what this proposal provides. The typical proposal would go to the planning board, step 1, zoning board for a special use permit, step 2, back to the planning board, second vote, and then a final vote of the planning board. That's the typical process under your existing regulations as they exist today.
Take the council out.
In that, right now, the council's not involved in that process, that's correct. And then you would be, that's right. And right now, putting this ordinance aside, you're not involved in that process.
But it's confused things, right? Anybody?
Can I ask a question of Mr. Kravitz? When the planning board reviewed this, you have the comprehensive plan in front of you to guide you. Did the board take into consideration what the zoning board requires? Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, I understand that question. The zoning board, by their nature in the state of Rhode Island, defined by state law, they don't create the policy, right? That's the council and the planning board. So, and so the zoning board, though, acts as kind of a local court, and they execute decisions based on specific projects. So the planning board, as Dean and Scott said when they were up here, they looked at the comp plan, kind of backed into it, looked how the existing ordinance allows for these types of facilities by special use permit in all districts except open space. So they looked at that logic, but that was an ordinance that, I don't think, Terry, you were on the council at the time, but council approved it in 17, so to approve that ordinance, those findings were made through the comp plan. So they kind of backed into it logically to say, we really can't say that this is inconsistent. So they looked at it in that respect.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question. But it's not as if they went through the process of looking at the 8 special use permit criteria that the zoning board would discuss. Planning board knows those 8 criteria are there. They would take those into account as they review it, so.
Okay. And this is not a zone change?
Right, the district is not changing,
Okay.
you know.
I think, though, just for clarification purposes, I think the question that's being asked is, can we, what they're asking is if we can change the system or the process, the procedure, as according to this new ordinance, to include the zoning. And the answer is yes, we could. However, if we did include the zoning would ultimately have final say. If they said no, then it would be dead.
Well, subject to a court appeal.
So correct. And in which case, then it goes to court, and then the courts decide what happens, and not the council.
That's correct. Unless, yes, that's correct. You're saying that's paid, right?
I want to come back to a point, maybe I wasn't articulated well enough. The applicant will have 20 days to challenge that and bring it to court. If 3 members of this council were not happy with the zoning board decision, would they have 20 days to meet at an executive session to discuss litigation? And 3 of the 5 members voted, could the town council bring it to court as well?
I've never seen that kind of a situation, Councilman, and because of zoning board. I've never seen that.
Thank you.
I've never seen the town council bring their own zoning board to court. I've just never seen that.
I've seen the opposite, but
Right, I've seen the opposite, where boards have sued town councils, and
this versus
right, and the courts have said that's, inappropriate. The other way around, I've never seen a town council ever sue.
thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have any questions. Jimmy Champagne, killed his speech. Yeah, that was a very powerful speech. And I agree with everything you said. Very simple, right? The only thing that I can't get past is an overlay and just having the right to do anything else. I just love to see it through proper channels. Hey, if you want to put a solar farm on your land, go ahead and do it. I can't see why it would be bad at all. Other than, the only thing I can't do is set up a precedence where everyone will come in for an overlay, and everyone will come in for special, you know, and then all of a sudden, we're looking at different things, and people are coming in and trying this all the time, you know, and it's just, it sets up a bad precedence, in my opinion, you know, and you know what, I don't see why everybody was in favor of the solar, they want to do it. It looks like you shrunk, you guys did a great job on shrinking it. Everyone seems to be happy. And us, you know, I don't know why we couldn't involve the zoning like it should be. I'm a guy that goes by steps and the way it should be. And I gotta tell you, there should not be any denial on anything, in my opinion. You know, but involve everyone, do it. It's very simple. I can't see it not happening. And everybody's gonna look at, Mr. Farrar has that land. He can develop it. And everyone says he can do whatever he wants. He can't do whatever he wants. He has to go by laws, and that's all we're asking to do. But if you don't want a solar farm, this could become something else. It could become an industrial place. It could become anything. It could become, you know, it happened before to a crew that didn't want anything, and then they got a lot worse than they expected. I mean, I think it should go through its due process. I don't like the special exceptions and the overlay of everything. I think we should run it through the zoning, everything the right way. Let's do it legal, and there's no way that this shouldn't come back all right. I don't think we could ever go wrong with doing it the proper way like we always do.
Anyone else? I said what I said was going to say last week, so I'm not going to say anymore. Everybody knows where I stand on this issue.
I'd like you to repeat because people
Well,
that were here last week.
I think that we're, the overlay, well, we got to understand that we're creating an overlay district. We're not voting on the solar project. Okay, that's going to come later. What we're doing is if we approve this project, if we approve the overlay ordinance, then redevelopment goes before the planning board and they file a plan and they go before the planning board to present their plan to the planning board. The planning board can approve it, disapprove it at that point, but if they approve it, then it comes back before the council for final approval on the money, the amount of money that we're going to get, and also on the agreement for the shutdown, decommissioning. I think, and it's not so much from you, but I think the argument to go to zoning is, and I'm only bringing, you asked me that, I wasn't going to say anything, but I think the argument to go to zoning is a little disingenuous, and the reason why is if we were going, if people had a feeling that the council was going to vote no, all right, for all the people up there that are saying we should go to zoning, we should go to zoning, if everybody, if it looked like the council was going to vote no, and we voted no, I don't think people would be saying, you had no right voting no, it should go to zoning. So I think that argument that should go to zoning is a little unfair, because if it was going to go their way, then they would be perfectly happy with this voting no and not going to zoning. So, but having said that, we're looking at a serious amount of money for the town. I wrote some notes here, but you know where I stand. I support this project. It's much needed revenue to the town. We can do it your way. We can go to zoning. However, right now we're looking at $7,000 a megawatt. Okay, go to zoning, let it fail, go to court, and guess what? The court's going to decide what goes on in the town of North Smithfield. And we're not looking at $7,000 a megawatt anymore. We're looking at $5,000 a megawatt. So by going that route, you roll the dice that if it does fail and it goes to court, it's a multi-million-dollar decision you make from that. So, you know, I'm gonna call the vote. You can vote no if you want, and so everybody, you can all vote no if you want. But I'm gonna call the vote, and we'll see what happens. And if it's no, then they can go to zoning if they want. But if it's yes, then at that point they'll present their project to the planning department.
close the public hearing yet. I'm not ready for any questions.
One more question. Well, so people had asked, and I'm curious also, as far as the junkyard, scrapyard, if the project goes forward, who will it be removed and who will, at whose expense?
So this is unrelated to the junkyard and scrapyard. Our understanding is, that the landowner can continue to do whatever they plan on and are currently doing on that property.
So that stays, and it's probably none of my business, but are the Farahs going to remain as residents on their property?
I would defer to the Farahs on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There. Removal of the trees. We're not burning trees down.
Yeah, what does happen to those trees?
That's a good question. So as I understand it, and I believe Malibu alluded to earlier, some of the trees on that property actually are already either cleared or in the process of being cleared, because the landowner can clear trees at any time for any reason without anything to do with this solar project. If the trees were to be cleared, they would most likely be harvested. The ones that are useful would be used for planks or other, purposes that are good. And then the other trees would most likely be used for firewood.
And is that property of the Farahs to dispose of, or does it go to the developer?
So if they clear the property before we get there, then it's entirely with them. If we clear it as part of our project, we would most likely dispose of the wood with the tree clearing company that we work with.
Okay, thank you.
So under the
Can you identify yourself?
Mark Pasquale, founder of Green, under the agricultural plan that the Ferris have right now in their foresting, and I actually flew over the property today, any revenue for the firewood is going to Ferris, the landowners, and Dr. Khan and whoever it would be. So we would harvest the wood, they would get the revenue. So they are in a program right now, I think they got about 40,000 last year for harvesting on the property. So with this harvest goes to them, the stumps and the scrap wood we dispose of. And a lot of it gets recycled, besides just firewood, a lot of it gets recycled, gets shipped to Canada for dense board and stuff. So there's multiple avenues, and then all the stumps come out and get grounded, so nothing stays in the ground. And one of the other questions that was asked that nobody answered, when do you get paid? Prior to a building permit, you get your one-time donation. So before the building inspector would give a building permit, the condition would be that the one-time payment of $5,000 per megawatt would be paid at that time. So that would be, usually that is put in to the agreement after all the approvals are done. We know it's 10 megawatts, $50,000, we have to make a payment to the town prior to receiving the building permit. And then the remainder of the payment comes once the COD. When the project is complete, you start taxing on the project and you get your $7,000 a year for the next.
$7,000 a megawatt.
$7,000 a megawatt per year for the amount, correct?
But also, I wanted to clarify that we were talking about the $250,000 one-time additional bonus you were going to pay. You said, if I'm following you correctly, you said $50,000 when the building permit was pulled.
So, no, to be clarify, it's $5,000 per megawatt. So if we build 50 megawatts, it would be 50 times 5. Prior to the building permit being issued, we have to make that payment to the town.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Can I ask one more question on the decommissioning, because it seems concerned? How do you dispose of panels?
So I've worked a lot in the decommissioning. We went back and forth. When we come back to the council, if we do come back to the council, we will either have a cash, we will either have a letter of credit, which is secured by cash, either a bond that's probably secured by cash, and then the town will have that letter of credit that can call on it if somebody fails to decommission the project in the 25 years. So once we know the size of the project, we will give the planning board a whole layout of the decommissioning plan to come up with a value, and then that would go to the council. But really, the decommissioning bond will be backed up by cash from some bank or a letter of credit from some bank that will be sitting in an account.
So as it's decommissioned and it's taken apart, I mean, I'm not wishing any ill will on your company or anything, but if you should walk away and and the field is there, and we have the funds to decommission, take it down, what do we do with it? Where does it go? It can't go to a landfill, it's gotta go on a ship and be
So-
sent somewhere?
No, so, first off, the panels aren't toxic, and I could let Michelle talk to that, but it's all steel, there's all I-beams, they get pulled out, they get put in a container, and they get scrapped, and even though scrap metal's down or up, who knows where it's gonna be in 25 years, but there's a cost for all that material. And then the panels either are resold or disposed of. There's nothing contaminated in the panel, there's silica and sand, so there's nothing contaminated there. So if we weren't here, you would put it out to bid, the town, and we get a price for it, take it into salvage, and then you would call the bank to give you the check for it. What's going to happen is we will decommission in 25 to 30 years. After it's gone, the building inspector will make an inspection and report back that it's complete, and then the town council will then release the letter of credit, and we collect the money that was put in escrow for the next 25 years.
But at the same time, it also does not fall on the town because it's not our land.
Correct, so in our leases, we're responsible, obligated to remove it to them, but the town is asking us to put a decommissioning bond in. So it's really not, it's in two people's hands. I'm obligated in their capacity and their value of their land and 25 years is a lot more money than the value of the decommissioning. So you really don't need it, the council wants it. So the council, if we weren't here, they would scrap it. They're very capable family to scrap the steel, and they still have their land that can be developed and done anything, what, turned into open space in the future, whatever they choose to do. If me and the Ferrers aren't here, or somebody doesn't have it, the property is still there, that is what, but you'll have a cash bond to decommission.
Thank you.
I'll do a follow-up on Councilman Bartolo's question. So this will be a planning board process, but I'm sure they'll be looking at inflation. I don't want to call it CPI because it's not consumer pricing, but that'll certainly weigh into when they look at that. Thank you. Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing regarding this zone overlay.
That's a motion, is there a second?
Second motion.
Roll call.
Mrs. Bottomoli?
Yes.
Mr. McGee?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Hara?
Yes.
Mr. Swansky?
Yes.
Mr. Biragad?
Yes. So at this time, I would make a motion to approve the solar photovoltaic overlay district ordinance as amended. That's a motion. Is there a second for discussion?
Mr. President, I'll second the discussion. If you'll amend your motion to say after the input of the public as well, just because it was instrumental in the amendment for the amount of land.
So what do you mean? Motion to approve proposed photovoltaic overlay district as amended.
After hearing public
After
input.
hearing public input. We already heard. Give us-
Yeah, but I just want that motion.
Correct. No, we didn't. This is not an amendment. This is a motion for the overlay. This is the vote.
To vote for the overlay.
The amended change.
No, we already voted for the amendment.
All right, so this is
This is the vote as amended. Vote for
right.
the ordinance as
You
amended.
either do the overlay, or else we go through the proper
Mr.
channels.
President.
Well, different chance. This is, I wouldn't say fraud.
Okay, you want to make sure the clerk had, the amendment voted on.
Yeah, we voted on it. We voted on it.
Well, it is the motion as amended.
I thought we did.
Yeah,
And that was-
I was just trying to include it in this motion as well, that's all.
All right, so this is the vote for the overlay.
Just for the overlay, not the solar. And we can, there can be further discussion. We have a second.
We can have further discussion.
Okay, a second for discussion. Okay. Does anyone have anything like to say?
I just want to again say, I think it's a bad precedence to do the overlay. And I don't think it's a problem to get this solar project going. I don't see why our zoning board would be against it. And I kind of have faith in that everything would work out well. I understand financially that we, but if